of what the higher time frame looks like, and then we'll go back to the lower time frame real quick. Now, higher time frame wise, we have like SFE this low, the yearly low twice now, and we're like capturing a lot of bullish like negative delta into the lows, which usually means that prices have to like end up popping higher. But the thing is like the trigger for like prices to actually pop up higher are these market structure breaks and reclaim of the value area low that we have right here. And there's something that we talked about last week as well, and it's literally the same trigger even now. Like at the moment, personally, like you can consider this to be a higher low, and this is one of the triggers that I have actually shared on my Twitter just like yesterday and on Saturday as well. Like this is the pivot and the FVG that we were looking for in terms of longs. And right now the way price is developing at the moment, and the way like price has held lows, we could most likely get some sort of slow grind structure right here. Like even right here, this is going to end up rotating a little higher, and if we do end up like slow grinding into the highs that we have right around here, we could get a pretty nice long that could lead a move much higher and possibly take out this high that we have right here and take whatever liquidity that is right here. Screen is not working. Let me share my screen real quick again, guys. I'm so sorry. Does it work now? Let me know. Uh, it's better now. Yes, got it. Okay, I was explaining like this structure right here, the lower time frame structure. It looks like it's like a pretty nice momentum of bids that keeps coming in, and the good thing about it is that there's a lot of like negative delta getting stuck into these lows, so that's a pretty good thing to look for. And I was talking about like price was right here, and I was talking about like how bids are pretty strong and price is instantly gonna send to this PI right here. And if you do reject from here, honestly, I could see this price going a bit lower to here, and that could actually set us up for a very minor short scalp. That would look something like this. I'm still waiting for it to develop. Maybe by the time this stream ends, we could get our trade like that. But if we do like end up slow grinding right around this POI, then that's gonna be a long into the highs. But I don't really recommend just blind longing into the highs. We need very strict and powerful momentum to just look for longs right here, because if you take a look at the higher time frame again, we are way below the value area low at the moment. And even if I stretch it, even if I keep stretching the value area low to the current market prices, it's still not like changing at all. So this volume right here is very illiquid, and the market is very imbalanced. So it's likely that if we do not get any sort of strength or momentum to kick price back into the value area low, we're gonna just like spike up a little, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna like run prices much lower, 48k, 46k. And honestly, there's a very nice FEG that is sitting right here, so I don't mind prices getting rejected and forming a lower high right into the value area low and getting rejected from this PY. That would again trigger for me that we have a very nice short in the development. It's pretty much like nicely cooking. Once we have like rejected from that POI and then we start breaking down, it's going to be a very nice short all the way down to like high 50s, 51k, 52k, and from there we can see how price develops, right? The only scenario for when you want to actually look for longs, like flip for longs, would be if you get a slow grind structure into the value area low, and we are gonna look for TPs around again this like low volume node, and the next TP would be this value area high right here, and that's gonna be when we have this slow grind structure built in into the value area low. And we are not really gonna extend these TPs much higher unless and until we flip this POC, because the last time we got to this POC we rejected very bad. So if we reject again off of this POC, that is actually going to lead to a move very aggressive down, because this is not as aggressive when we do reject from a POC again. That's usually just indication that there's basically no willing buyers there at that level anymore. So that's going to be a very brutal move, so you don't want to see any of that happen. Now this is the only higher time frame long trigger that I have on my chart at the moment. The other high time frame long trigger would be if you are able to like take a long scalp somewhere here. Like let's just say we were talking about this long scalp in the stream and the daily outlook that I posted on Saturday and Sunday as well. Now this was the long trade, which was just a fill of this FEG, and we have managed to like fill this FEG. Now, if we were able to like get onto this trade, like any sort of like fill of this FEG, and then the momentum we got from here, if you're able to like get on scalps like these, and the momentum keeps running higher and higher, there's basically no break of momentum, as like here there's a bunch of like low holds, and the slow grind structure looks pretty nice. There's bullish bids coming in, and they keep keeping the price afloat above the last high. And if this continues, then you can like keep continuing like your scalp long to much higher TPs, and keep it higher until and unless we get to a point where we are like getting back into the value area low. And when we do, you can just extend your TP all the way back up to like 75k. Now, this is the only long scenario that I have, either the value area low, or if you're able to get into a scalp and then you just let a runner run your trade. The other is just looking for shorts. Honestly, you want one of these shorts is a rejection from here, and that would lead to a move where we fill this FEG right here, form another higher low, and then what, because basically what we're doing right here is just compression. This is something that I talked about on the private session that I did on Thursday as well. We're going to be focusing on compression at the moment, and we are eventually going to run over one side very, very soon. And when we do that, when we do run over one side, if it's going to be like bid side, and we go up to the value area low and we reject off of there, that's going to be a big deviation. So that's going to be considered deviation, and it's going to send prices way, way lower, right? Now, if we break a little lower, that would actually not be good as well, because we have already kept SFing. So if we do break lower, we're gonna run lower again. So the best idea is to, when we break higher, we must continue prices right from that level and have no signs of weakness at all. Since when we do not have any signs of weakness, because you have to understand we are in a higher time frame downtrend, because prices have been just nuking down again and again, and we are way below the value area low, we are way below the range. So what that means is this is a breakdown. This is going to continue and carry much, much lower. So any signs of momentum and bullish bid that we have, we must see that there's continuation to it. And the way continuation would be, let's just say we're slow grinding and grinding. We don't want any sort of break structure. We don't want any sort of bearish break structure. We want prices to like slow down a bit, but we want prices to just continue moving further and further higher. This is the sort of structure that we need to see on the chart. Like literally, this is the exact structure that we need to see on the chart. And if we do not get to see this, and there's a lot more chop, there's a lot more like rough chart like action that's going on in the chart, then that is most likely going to mean that we have space to go much, much lower. And there's something that I talked about in my Monday stream as well, like maybe 2 weeks ago, that if you do break down lower, guys, yeah, don't mind it, and just look to like start accumulating on BTC and Ethereum, like from 45k level all the way down to like 25k. This is your buy zone. So anything between here, you're gonna start buying, right? And then you're gonna buy, and then you're gonna start sell here, right? So this is your higher time frame trade. And once you see that there's a lot of like potential right here, this is actually your higher time frame trade. If you guys want to take a screenshot of it, if you guys want to like stick by it, you can do that as well. But this is the sort of structure that I have for my higher time frame buys. And any sort of buys that come from like 45ks, like 45ks, 47ks, all the way down to like 25k, even 30k, or even 20k. That's the worst case. Most likely we're gonna start bottoming around like 30k or a bit higher, because we're essentially gonna most likely mark out the the bottom like just above this. Either we are gonna like mark out the bottom just above this, or we're gonna like very quickly SFP, and then we are gonna send it higher. So that's the structure that we are looking for when we talk about like a higher time frame bottom, like for real. And if you have any sort of like funds that you have sitting on the side, I do recommend like looking into buying BC if you have them free. And then this can be your buy zone, and I'm only gonna sell when it's like around 100Ks or around this level, right? Because this is gonna mark like a higher time frame lower high, and we are gonna rotate back to this pivot eventually at some point. That could be a year later, that could be 2 years later. that could be like 6 months later as well. So it could be fast, it could be slow, but like dynamically, this is the structure that is eventually going to play out. It could take like, it could like start chopping here, it could just do this, but eventually by some, like by a year, by two, it's gonna go up there, because it's just this is just forming ranges. This is a range that we're in, and we are in the discount of this range, and I do recommend like looking into buys. Now for the lower time frame, like I said, like it's gonna rotate from this price to this price, and now this right here is where we're gonna look for our triggers. Now if we do get a rejection from here, we can look for like a short, and a short would be if we break down, or we could just trigger a gamble, and the longs would be if we just continue momentum. Now continuing momentum will look something like this, but it has to eventually at some point, it has to get this like angle of steepness, like usually we refer to that as like 45-degree angle, and then there's got to be like a bunch of sequential higher lows and higher highs that usually leads to like a very nice pump move right afterwards. It leads to like an incline right after that TVAB, that structure has formed. That's it for the update, and let me take a look at the chat real quick. If you guys have any questions at the moment, or if you didn't understand anything, just type it in the chat real quick. I'm taking a look at the chat. By the way, the positions poll, a lot of people are in longs at the moment. 14 people in longs. So basically, like 46% of the people are in longs, and the rest are in shorts. And some of you are in shorts, and the rest are sideline. Being sideline is completely okay, and honestly, like this is a considered compression. So if you're sideline, you don't have to force yourself into a trade. That's probably a worse mistake than being sidelined, that you like force yourself into trade, because you're gonna force yourself into a loss anyways. um I see said, so do you think like we've seen the bottom? No, I do have like some space for the bottom right around here. How do you find POIs? I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. Oliver said, why not hold to ATH? Honestly, like you can hold to ATH as well, but I don't want to be greedy with it, where like it goes all the way up to this lower high. It takes our like this FVG, and then it starts like just nuking back from this lower high. So like look, structure wise, that's something that could most likely happen. That is why I'm looking for sells around here. Fran said, could you take a look at lit, please? I'm actually gonna take a look at lit. Oh, by the way, this is the chart that I think like, I'm not sure when I streamed. I maybe streamed like on Thursday. We were looking for buys on this like oil from this level to here, and it's like playing out pretty well. That's pretty good. Taking a look at lit. Let me take a look at lit real quick. Lit USDT. Okay, we are gonna go a little higher time frame. If you asking me to like take a look at lit, I want to know what sort of position you are in as well. Honestly, this looks like it's gonna retrace a little lower from a lower high, and then rotate a little back up. That is what I see at the moment. Hype. Let's take a look at hype as well. Do we have hype? The last time I posted about hype, I was just looking for a rejection right around this level, and this POI. Actually, my POI is filled, so we have some space for hype to go upwards. This would have been a much better long, but I was not on the charts. We're gonna take out these highs right here, and then we're gonna rotate easily. Maybe reject a bit here. We're gonna take out these highs that will form, and then we're gonna rotate to 68, and then from there we're gonna have further price development. ATTR said, it's crazy to see everyone everywhere in longs from sub 59k. How do you manage the good entries when all the crowd is in I cannot long here? Then I see the price of it pumping. You don't have to, again, you don't have to force yourself. Listen, you can either get the peak or bottom, or you can get like like what you can actually do. Let me just show you real quick. Let me go to the lower time frames a bit. Like when you talk about like a good trade, when everybody like, if you talk about like a bottom, but everybody seems to be in the same bottom long as you, that usually means that there's a lot of liquidity that's being built up. So if there's a lot of people longing here, it's probably gonna push price a little higher. But since there's like nobody else that's looking to buy that same amount of longs to send a price much higher, what's gonna happen is that it's gonna start stalling and it's gonna go lower. Now everybody that was calling for bottom was long here. Now they're getting cooked here, they're getting cooked here, and then when prices are here, you question like, okay, this is this gonna like start going even lower? Is this a bottom, or is this again like some sort of like shenanigan where everybody's saying, okay, this is the bottom again, this is the bottom again, and then what happens is like it continues down lower. The best thing that you have to do, and the only thing that you can do, is just start DCing. You cannot like tackle like a bottom, but what you can do instead of getting a pico bottom is just wait for a confirmation. And when I talk about confirmation is usually reclaiming some level. So let's just say we have a value area low right here. Now, if we do reclaim the value area low, like this is a tricky zone. So if we do reclaim the value area low, then you can just consider that to be the bottom, right? Because that's gonna eventually give us a rotation all the way back to the value area high. Now from there, it could like start slow grinding and it could send to like 100K again, right? But you don't have to like miss out on the bottom. Like you have your confirmation and you can actually trade the bottom. You just don't have the peak of bottom entry, and you don't really need to catch bottoms or tops. You just need to be able to trade the continuation, because there's like three phases to like actually forming a bottom and a top. The first is the initial phase where like you're trying to catch a peak or bottom, you're trying to catch like a peak or top, and most of the time you like either get wrecked in it and you don't like DCA like dollar cost average, or you don't passive into it, and that's why you usually have a bad entry. When we talk about like good entries, we talk about confirmation entries, and confirmation entries is usually when a level is reclaimed or some sort of structure has been formed properly. That is when we talk about like good entries. And when you have this idea of like just trying to catch the tops or trying to catch the bottoms, you need to actually really get rid of that idea. When you do get rid of that idea, you're gonna start getting the good entries, because then you're gonna look for actual confirmation, because then you don't have to be confused, okay, if this was the bottom or if this was the bottom, and you will never know unless and until there's like a range, and then you have the confirmation, okay, it's like the accumulation phase is done, it's gonna run higher now, I can buy here. The only difference is gonna be that, let's just say you buy at the value area low, from this level to the value area low, it's just like a $3,000 difference, right? Now you're gonna miss out on like 70 like 20 like sorry 40,000 $50,000 move, just because you wanted to like, you didn't want to wait for like this 3K move. So that's something that like usually leads to bad entries. You just wait for confirmation a lot of the times, and that eventually gets to end up to be a good entry. Top Striker asked, do you use highs and lows paired with the volume profiles? I do use highs and lows as well. How, let's say hi, I just joined the free stream and missed the beginning. You can like watch this. I am actually recording this and I'm gonna be posting this on my YouTube and also on my Twitter, so you can watch the recording later on as well. Bot spot lit around 1.21. That's my guy Fran. 1.21. If you have like an entry around 1.21, honestly, I actually don't mind the entry at all. I would recommend like partialing here though. This is a tricky place. This even right here, this was a tricky place. It's just forming structure at the moment. It needs like a big push to really just send through 1.9, because this is a round number resistance. It's gonna hold price down for a bit. Balt said, how do you find a POI? So POI is something that you can find by learning about order blocks, by learning about POCs, by learning about like a bunch of things. And a POI is basically a point of interest, like right here. Let me just mark out like POIs. Maybe a lot of people still don't know how to mark up POIs. And let's just take a look at this chart. Now this level right here will be a POI of mine, and this is exactly where our reversal is formed. POI consists of a few things: an extreme, like made of the order block, and FEG as well. But usually they're like just the extremes. The extreme of the move. Even this right here is the POI for me. This right here is a POI for me, and this right here is also a POI for me, and this right here is also a POI for me. So there's internal POIs, then there is external POIs. And like I told you guys, like we are gonna like rotate from this POI to like this extreme, and then we're gonna reject from there, and just like rotations within extremes, and you have to like be able to like play those points of interest where the other rotation will happen, That's where a POI is. I can go in like much in-depth detail for it, but I'm gonna keep that for the private people. Does a monthly subscription have the course, or it has to be the year? It has to be the yearly. ATTR asked, please can you explain when you search to enter on an FEG and when on an order block? I see you doing both in relation about the trend and mean reversion. Usually, you have to understand that when prices has formed some sort of like low, it's not just forming an order block; it's forming an FEG as well. So you have to like see where the overlap is, or wherever the extreme just in between them is. Usually I would prefer the imbalance more than the order block. Yes, price does move from POIs to POIs. Price is rotatory. It's seeking balance all of the time. It's just rotations pretty much all the times. That's basically what range and compression is. And literally from this example, you can see it like rejects from the highs, it goes to the lows, and it's usually not breaking the lows. It's just keeping within them. And when it is like breaking the highs or the lows, it's still like keeping in between the internal structure. So just rotations from one PI to other PI all the time, unless and until price discovery. And price discovery is like it's way above all-time high, like it's right here, and there has been like no sort of PA just behind it. So that's when like you have to look for some other factors in the chart. Yeah, any other questions at the moment, guys? Do we have any sort of like scalping at the moment? Is anybody in a scalp or a trade that like is right around this structure? Honestly, we could go to lower time frame real quick and see if we could get a trade. Oliver is in a trade. Hype short. Let me see. Could work if you're like trading the lower time frame. Oh, that's a nice long. That's a nice long. It's developing. It's doing pretty well. This right here, honestly, I see that this. Okay, this is a PI that's filled. Now from here we could bounce a little higher again, and if you do get like a rejection here from there, I would probably be interested into a short. We are actually just rotating at the moment. Also New York Open is gonna be here in like a few minutes, so we are most likely gonna get some sort of volatility to be able to take a trade. ATTR asks, do you use time as reference for higher time frame trades? For example, not looking for a higher time frame trade before a specific session or a special moment of the month. Yes, like higher time frame. Specific timings do matter a lot. Like let's just say monthly open or like a weekly open. They do matter because a lot of the times, or even daily open, a lot of the times there's a lot of like bots and activity that just goes, a lot of volume that gets influxed into the market right around those levels. New York Open, especially, and then there's like market news like CPI, PPI, and then there's like FOMC. So all of these things matter a lot because on these news and on these like timely events, there's usually a lot of like bots and volume just kicking into the market. So that usually could be a means of like trapping some high or low, or could be a mean of reversal, or could be a mean of like continuing some trade. So that's something that you have to like take notice of a lot of the times. You can't just like avoid that. So that's something that you have to like always keep in mind. Like anytime I trade, I always have the time in mind first. Like I always have the news in mind first if there's anything that's gonna happen around that time when I trade. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, Trump tweets. I swear, Trump tweets and the war. Honestly, that's like one of those things that really gotta look into, and it's actually very very like weird. This is gonna take some time to develop, honestly. Let's change our time frames again and see. Okay, the final verdict before I end this call. Let me just mark out some levels. This POI we're gonna look for a bounce. This is a level we're gonna look for a bounce. This is a pivot of rejection. We're gonna look for rejection, and we're gonna stay within this for a while. And this is where if we flip this, we're gonna send a little higher. We're gonna take the high right around here, and we're gonna form our trades around this structure. Joel said, so it's best not to trade when there's red events on Forex Factory. Not actually. You can still trade. The only thing that you have to keep in mind is when if you're in a trade and there's an event that's gonna happen, you gotta like put your stops at break even. You gotta go risk free because you never know if there's like a spike coming in. Let's just say this spike, like this spike, spike like this, and it just runs your stop, and your stop should not have been run over. It's the only news that like news or some tweet or some event timing that you got wrong, and then that like led to a loss for you. That's why you need to like be more like risk free just before an event happens. It is okay to take trades, not like 20 minutes before or 10 minutes before, usually like hours before. So it's okay to take a trade an hour, 2 hour, 3 hours before for or in news, because usually the reaction timing is for these like news most of the time is usually like within 30 minutes to like 2 hours. Yeah, like 5 hours ago, like 2 hours ago, like that's completely fine. Honestly, I did want to short like right here. There's something that I was talking about when I like started the stream. I was like, okay guys, if we reject from here, we're gonna look for the short. And apparently I'm getting front run on this, which is very sad to see. But we have another structure forming. Like right here, we're bouncing again. We're bouncing off of this right here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna bounce a little higher in this, and once we SFP this, then we can try to like look for a scalp right here. But if you're in a long from somewhere here, then I don't recommend like closing that long unless and until we take the short, then we like break down this low right here, and then that's gonna be again like a rotation for another bounce. If you do take the short and prices come right around here, and then they like stop like nuking further lower, and then they just hold price here and then start for like pumping back from here. This is where you're gonna recognize, okay, this is another higher low, and I'm gonna close my short right here. This is just microstructure and compression trading. You don't thing is like you don't have to force yourself into compression trading, but I am trying my best to like teach you guys to be able to like micro scalp still while being like in a restricted chop for weeks and days. Usually you wanna for Joel, usually you wanna like position an hour after the news. That is the prime time because then the scammy moves are done, and then you will have a high and a low fixed into the chart for you. Were lower time frame conditions better to trade when we were around all-time highs? Honestly, that's something that a lot of people think. Like, were conditions better here? Were conditions better there? As long as you understand microstructure, we were taking a lot of scalps here. We were taking a lot of scalps here. Even right now, we are taking a lot of scalps, and I could still take a lot more scalps. It's pretty much the same. It's just sometimes like, when prices are like illiquid, when there's not much volume into the market, and it's just like doing nothing, like right around here. This is this in BTC, the worst time to have like traded was just like these few months. It was just right here because we were like basically doing nothing. What price would do it would like go up this much up in the day, and then it would come back to that, and the next day it would go this much down, and then that would happen for weeks. It was just doing this. This is all it did, and then it would randomly like crash up, and then come back down. That's basically all it did. It didn't even move like 5k, 4k, like 10k. It was just there, existing there. That's it. So we don't have those conditions, and a lot of the times we are like moving quite a lot. Even right here, we have like very nice trending moves. We have like proper structure forming. Even right here, this is not like a chart where it's not like moving. It's not moving like 4k. I mean, it's moving very low. Like that's usually what happens on the weekend. Like Saturday and Sunday and Monday, then eventually becomes a little slow. But from Tuesday, it ramps up all the way up to like Friday. So from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is usually a turnaround. There's usually a reversal, And by the time you're in Friday, we usually have this sort of settle down into price into the weekend. So we have like pretty nice conditions for like trading still. It's just you need to be able to read microstructure a lot. Joel asked, from this move down from 82K, would have been better to just avoid longs at all from 82K. Honestly, I have no idea why a lot of people were longing this move at all. First of all, this is something that I posted on Twitter that we are debating and we're gonna go much, much lower. And second of all, we got back into the value area high. So that's confirmation that we're going much, much lower. And another confirmation, we did not reclaim the POC, so that means we're going much, much lower. So as long as we don't reclaim value area low right here, that still means we're going much, much lower. So there's a very clean microstructure, even the higher time frame structure, and all the confluences were there with us for shorts and sells. So if you had just like observed how the structure had formed, it would have been like easier. You don't have to complex it. I feel like a lot of people overthink it. That's why they don't see. Just look at the chart, see chart, uptrend, don't take shorts. C chart breakdown, just start taking shorts. That's all you gotta do actually. You gotta like dumb your overthinking down to some point sometimes. Ryan, that's a very nice short setup. That's a very nice entry. Let me actually go to the lower time frame. Oh, is this your entry right around here? I think that is your entry. Yep. What is my row size in FRVP settings? I have no idea. I think it's like 1,000. Actually, the settings for the FRVP are not opening on my account anymore. I'm not sure why, but it's like 1,000 row size. Oh yeah, it's gonna just like rotate. What's your TP, Ryan? 58,400. That is right around the slope. Well, I did miss the short. It like front run me by what, like, let me see. 150 $200. That's okay. Never mind. 5,900 and run onto the tail. 5,900 is somewhere here. Yeah, honestly, looking at the same level, we want to see a bounce somewhere around here.